Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things 33 common sense lens. And you know, it's been fascinating to watch the lawsuit with Gina Carano and Disney, right, over her firing from Star Wars as the Mandalorian with her character Cara Dune, which all of the fans absolutely loved. And it's like, wow, Disney, you always say you want to have strong female characters, and you actually give us one that the fans and the audiences absolutely love and adore, and you fire her just because she doesn't agree with, at the time, your current political agenda. And now the backlash has been absolutely intense. The fans still line up in droves whenever she shows up to a con. She's normally got one of the longest lines at any of the cons because the Star Wars fans absolutely love her. Hell, the only Funko Pop I've actually ever bought is the one that's sitting right behind me over here, at least for myself, and it's my Cara Dune one that I got on sale over there at like a Hot Topic or something, because guess what? I figured they were probably never going to make them again, and I love the character too. So it's one of them situations, boys and girls. This lawsuit backed by Elon Musk has been a fascinating thing to watch because discovery is what we're waiting for, right, boys and girls? Discovery is where all of the juicy details come out, and Disney is absolutely terrified of that, boys and girls. They are dragging their feet left and right, and is forced Gina Carano's lawyers to push more legal action against the Walt Disney Company because they are terrified, absolutely terrified of the truth coming out, because they know how bad it will look on them and all of the shady kind of nonsense garbage and all of the bias that all of us have been expecting and have absolutely understood was legitimate inside the Walt Disney Company from actually getting confirmed. Because if that's the case, if it actually gets confirmed in legal documents, the Walt Disney Company will not be able to hide from it anymore. And even the Hollywood trade magazines, the legacy media, will not be able to deny it anymore. It won't just be a bunch of crazy YouTubers screaming about things. It'll be actual legal documents, and Disney is doing everything they can to avoid releasing that. Because as you can see over here from thatparkplace.com, Gina Carano accuses Disney of stonewalling as trial date is now delayed until 2026. Boys and girls, motion to compel filed after 8 months of reported deflection and stalling. Yes, it's been that long since Disney was supposed to release these documents to Gina Carano and her lawyers so they could go over all of this kind of stuff, and they have been stonewalling and dragging their feet every step of the way because they are terrified of the truth coming out. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what is currently going on with this lawsuit and where everything stands right now. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,700. We're on our way to 1,800, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you stand with Gina Carano, or are you one of those Disney Star Wars pixie dusters out there who think she's just the most horrible person out there in the world? Do you think, what kind of information do you think Disney is actually trying to hide behind the scenes? Why do you think they're dragging their feet on Discovery so very much? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, check out the links in the description as well. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Montanero. The legal showdown upcoming trial between the Mandalorian and Deadpool star Gina Carano and entertainment behemoth Disney just took another dramatic turn. In a new statement posted to X, Carano announced that her attorneys have filed a motion to compel after waiting 8 months for basic Discovery materials Disney has allegedly refused to provide. I wonder why. Why won't you just give over the documents, Disney? The documents in question are essential for Carano's damages expert to properly assess the financial impact of her high-profile firing from The Mandalorian, an event that launched one of the most public employment disputes in Hollywood history. Yeah, it's been all over the place. And obviously, here's the statement from Gina Carano. Make sure you go follow her on X if you haven't already. If you want, especially if you want to keep up with this stuff, definitely follow her over there on X and keep up with all of that kind of stuff out there. She is fabulous, and she's just a wonderful follow, too. A lot of times she posts, like, positive stuff and fun little thoughtful things, so she's just a wonderful follow. She's a wonderful person. It's been 8 months since my lawyers first requested basic documents and information from Disney that my damages expert needs. Throughout this case, Disney Lucasfilm have deflected and stalled. My trial date has now been moved from this September to next February. What are you Oh, you don't want to have it come out at the end of the fiscal year? What's wrong, Disney? You don't want to have to report all that stuff? You don't want to have to answer all the questions from your investors at that investors call? I wonder why why. Let's push it off into the middle of the next fiscal year. It's such a punch in the gut for an artist. Absolutely, absolutely. Carano's lawyers at Schaefer JF LLP, a firm known for taking on First Amendment and constitutional cases, filed the motion on April 2nd, 2025, asking the court to force Disney to comply. According to Carano, her team has gone above and beyond. She says right here, my lawyers have gone above and beyond, being persistent and consistent in their requests and cooperating where need be, which is well documented, which judges love that. They love your documentation. Disney's discrimination is plain as day. Maybe that is why they're delaying providing the proof sitting right in their files. That's exactly why. They are terrified of the truth coming out. And obviously, this is one of them situations too, like if you know anything about Disney's history, like their lawyers and all of this kind of stuff, they are shady. I mean, you remember the old rumor, you remember the old story about nobody actually ever dies at Disney, right? They're not allowed to announce you they're not allowed to actually pronounce you dead until you're outside the gate, right? I mean, like literally there's stuff like that actually happens. And the insanity of it is Disney's lawyers are nuts. They are crazy, and it's just been nuts. But hey, guess what? We know that Disney loses now. We saw what happened in Florida, and we're going to see what happens with this as well. So this latest update adds fuel to the growing perception of Disney's treatment of Carano has gone beyond simple contract termination and into territory many are calling petty, vindictive, and even discriminatory. You think? Since her firing, Carano not only has been blacklisted from Lucasfilm Project, but has also been seen Disney quietly erase nearly all acknowledgement of her role in The Mandalorian. Cara Dune, one of the most recognizable characters of the show's first 2 seasons, hands down. And this is another one of those shady things. This is how it shows you how petty Disney is. Check this out. Last week, ESPN, a Disney-owned network, excluded Carano from a feature segment commenting on women and mixed martial arts, despite her years of high-profile trailblazing accomplishments and achievements in bringing the sport of WMMA to TV screens. Carano was nowhere to be found in ESPN's tribute. I'm sure it was just an accidental oversight, right? They're not trying to erase her from history. They're not trying to pretend she doesn't exist. Now, are they? No. So Carano says, as if there was ever any doubt, even the Hollywood press is noting how I was treated unfairly when looking at how Disney was treated other actors. And yeah, there was one of the legacy institutions, I can't remember if it was like Variety or the Hollywood Reporter or somebody, but somebody actually sat down and did an interview with Carano not too long, like just a couple of months ago, maybe like right after the lawsuit or something like that. All of that stuff really blew up, and like talked to her about it. And like even in their article, they were like, yeah, she really got treated pretty crappy. And that Park Place points out too, right? Disney disciplines talent, like because the double standard, right? Because Rachel Zegler, Mark Ruffalo, Pedro Pascal have all said like insane things, right? And we know Rachel Zegler is pretty much done. She'll never work at Disney ever again. But Pedro Pascal and Mark Ruffalo get to make all kinds of outrageous and flamboyant statements about politics all over the place, right? And Gina Carano was just kind of making more of a moral statement, and that got her fired. So yeah, needless to say, it's pretty nasty. The Gina Carano Disney trial, initially set for September, has now been postponed in February, like she already said. That delay doesn't just affect Career's financial restitution, it also prolongs the emotional and reputational toll she has endured for over 4 years. It's just such a punch in the gut for an artist, but I remain positive about the future, and that is absolutely wonderful. She says the case goes far beyond me. It's not just for people who agree or disagree with anything, or even anything I've said. Just even filing this case has forced Disney to check themselves, and I believe it has already helped to protect others, and that is wonderful. And I think she's probably right. We've seen Disney kind of like, and whether it be because of like the FCC investigations or whether it's just because there's a new sheriff in town out there or whatever it is, but we've already seen Disney like make a lot of changes behind the scenes, right? We heard about all of the former Pixar employees that cried to IGN about Disney won't let us put gay stuff in kids' entertainment anymore. You know, we saw them cut episodes from a series that premiered in the fall that had to deal with that kind of nonsense in kids' television shows as well. So we've already seen them make a lot of changes behind the scenes. And this is one of those things that's just absolutely fabulous. This is going to force them going forward. And basically they just go on to explain like what the motion to compel actually means, right? It basically goes, hey, look, we've tried to play nice this entire time. Judge, they're not playing fair. Make them give us the stuff, right? And that's one of those things because then the judge can hold them in contempt if they don't. And there's all kinds of legal ramifications and yada, 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 and all of that interesting kind of stuff as well going on. So the motion to compel now puts the ball in Disney's court, literally. The court agrees with Carano's legal team. Disney could be forced to release internal communications, financial records, and other key documents that shed light on the decision to fire her and the aftermath. And that's where things are going to be really interesting to see. If the aftermath, how many Disney Star Wars employees, how many Lucasfilm employees over there were dancing and cheering, yay, we got rid of her, yay, that nasty little istophobe, yada, 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 yada. I guarantee you there were emails on the company's account that said stuff like that. Such disclosure could open the door to even more scrutiny to Disney's internal politics and culture, something the company is already struggling with amid multiple PR battles, declining box office returns, and ongoing criticism of its corporate activism. You think? As of this writing, Disney has not publicly responded to Carano's statement or the motion filed on April 2nd, but the story continues to develop. The spotlight on the company's behind-the-scenes behavior only grows brighter, and trust me, we'll be keeping an eye on this, boys and girls, so make sure you smash that notification bell. Carano's lawsuit, publicly backed by ex-owner Elon Musk, has become a rallying cry for critics of the cancel culture and ideological blacklisting in the entertainment industry. And if her case moves forward as expected in 2026, Disney may find itself not just defending its legal position, but its very credibility. And I mean, honestly, what credibility does Disney have anymore at this point? Like, is there anybody that really trusts them, especially when it comes to Star Wars? I mean, literally, like the last show that they put out never made it on the Nielsen's top 10, right? Star Wars as a franchise is DOA, and doing stuff like firing Gina Carano, one of the most popular characters out of The Mandalorian, and not to mention just a wonderful person all the way around and not half bad to look at, right? Am I right, boys? Like, seriously. The hypocrisy of Disney has been absolutely fascinating. I guarantee you Kathleen Kennedy is going to be exposed in these emails. I guarantee you this is probably not something that came from the Burbank C-suite of Bob Iger, right? I guarantee you this came from Kathleen Kennedy, and I can't wait to see those emails. I can't wait for the expose, because you know this stuff is eventually going to get out there, because they're not going to settle. They're going all the way forward with this, all the way to court. And the best part is a lot of that stuff is going to become public record, right? And someone's going to leak it out, whether it be somebody in the court, whether it be somebody, I don't know, in some other place that's close to the whole situation. I have no idea. But at some point, we're going to see that stuff, because unless Disney comes up with some insane amount of money that they're going to try to pay her off with to make sure this stuff gets exposed, which according to Gina, she's not going to take it, right? She's not in this for the money. She's in this for the truth to be revealed and for Disney to get exposed as the underhanded, shady, nasty folks they are. And Star Wars is probably the worst section of Disney. They are absolutely in the worst state, and it's stupid, insane political BS like this that has caused it. And now Gina Carano's lawsuit is going to force it all to be exposed. Disney is running scared, and they're running from Cara Dune. So Star Wars, congratulations on outing and creating your very own worst enemy. Kathleen Kennedy, I hope this helps you sleep very well at night.